Greetings. What we have here is a game called Kursk. It's a 1971 game. However, it's got a combination of pieces from another game called Drive on Stalingrad, the second edition Drive on Stalingrad. The original Kursk rules here from the 1971 game, and a combination of rules that I developed for a game called Trisbardia with the combo and the like that we will use. These counters from the Drive on Stalingrad game are based on the PanzerGruppe Guderian system, generally speaking, without the regimental breakdown for the Germans. But it does have the untried unit counters for the Soviets and the 9 strength infantry values for the Germans with step reduction. Now the setup is from the Kursk rules. It's the May scenario, so it's the May scenario here. So we're using this column here, and basically using both that for the Germans, of course, and for the Soviets. And essentially I'm replacing what were core type units. They were just there were a number of army units for each. There were a number of units for each army. In the case of the Soviets, I'm replacing those with divisions, Soviet divisions, and for the armoured corps, they're just straight armoured corps replacements from Drive on Stalingrad, or mechanised corps replacements, one or the other. For the Germans, they're just straight infantry divisional replacements. So we've got a situation where comparably the German and Soviet infantry units per se, the Germans will be a bit stronger. So there'll be a little bit of an advantage numerically for the Germans in the case of the infantry units, because in the original 1971 Kursk game, the infantry division, the German infantry divisions, were approximately the same. They were approximately the same, actually, between 2 and 3 in values. I'll just refer to them now. And so we're getting a similar sort of comparative value, although in this case I think the German strengths will be a little bit higher. For example, that was the 2-4. Hopefully you can see that. That was a Soviet unit, and they also had some 3-5s for the Guards units. Let's see if I can find one. Here we go. Like so. And the Germans had, for their infantry divisions, they were in general they were all 2-5s. So the Germans have probably gone up in strength relative to the Russians, because those untried units, while some of them reach the strengths of 9, a lot of them are less than that. So this is an advantage for the Germans. So how do we deal with that? I think we deal with it by making the defensive belts just a little bit stronger, which I think is relevant relative to the original Kursk game. So what we're doing is this is the May scenario. From my understanding, the defences were improved, but not. What the big difference between May and June, or July, sorry, was that the Soviets accumulated more units. So I don't see a problem with just keeping those defences pretty high. pretty significant. So there'll be a 2-shift for each band of defence, except maybe the last band, which will be a 1-shift. So there'll be 2-shift, 2-shift, and 1-shift relative to the Mason area, which I think is just the first band in this original 71 game. They just you ignored all the other bands. So I think that'll be that'll certainly equalise that. With regards to the armoured units, perhaps a bit stronger than Germans. But what I've done is just worked on the factor basis. Again, I think it's probably exceeds it by double. Compared to the, some of these German armoured divisions are about 12. There's some very high ones, 16 and 15 and 14 and so forth. But in general, that they're about 12, which is about twice the strength of the original 1971 values. And the armoured values for the Russians are higher. They're actually higher. They're probably nearly double. So they're pretty close actually. And there's also some Russians in that are coming in as reinforcements. So that's the game now. What I'll do is I'll play the first turn. As you can see, you've got 2 German groups, north and south of the salient at Kursk, both at Orel and Belgorod. The Soviets get to deploy first. They put fairly strong defences there, thinking that that's where the attack is, because the victory conditions do require Kursk to be taken. Just about. I'll go through those victory conditions, but as the game progresses. But that's a strong objective from a point of view, and nothing wrong with trying to recreate the purpose of the offensive at Kursk, which was to remove the salient. From the German point of view. So whether that was done in May, June or July or whenever, it would have still been their objective to shorten the line. So we shall be trying to shorten the line in May 1943, and I will come back to you once this turn, first German player turn has been played out.